talks of an alternative new Twitter, or not an alternative new Twitter, but alternatives to Twitter itself, basically. I mean, outside of Facebook or whatnot. Um, some are saying basically, oh, why not just build a blockchain version of Twitter, or Twitter version on blockchain, actually. Sorry, I should reverse that. Yeah, build a Twitter on a blockchain, or to Mastodon. Why not just use Mastodon since it's decentralized? I mean, that's one of the nice things about Mastodon. But the problem is with that is it's not as easy as you think it would be with Mastodon, because you got to run your own server at that point. That's the only one thing about decentralization. That's where you'll have. It's like what I think NING was at one point that they tried to do. Not Nginx, but Ning. It was trying to be the your own social media, or your own Facebook of your platform for others to come in, basically. And then but there was no time for other things ties into others, basically. So that's why I was like confused with Mastodon. Like, it's you have to have one server or servers basically for your set, essentially, almost like Element and like what Discord is. It's like creating your own Discord server. And then everyone going in on that at that point, and then others creating their own Discord servers, and then go for that. So like you can have multiple Discord servers. It's great, but it's great in concept. But the reality is, it's like I think people want to be in a place where you still have sort of a centralized aspect of being in one place, basically, versus having to go to multiple servers. It's the same thing, I think, with the metaverse, basically, like in the meta world, or the metaverse. You have multiple metaverses. That's why I don't think it's going to gain popularity until you have one actual sort of central metaverse that everyone goes to. Granted, it can be decentralized there and grow from that aspect. Um, so if there is a new Twitter, I'd be really surprised if it sort of comes about in a way that it's the popularity of it will overcome what the existing Twitter is. I mean, honestly, I think the fact that Musk buying out Twitter um, will force some people to leave. I mean, there'll be the diehard Elon Musk followers that will just follow him to there, basically, at that point. But in reality, I think it's now to come down to the point where, like, you want to create a new social media platform and communication tool that is decentralized, but decentralized to the point where, like, it's not on one server, but you have sort of like a peer network, basically. Having it in a peer network where you have multiple servers, but for that one actual server. I think that's what people are looking for. Because you don't want to go to multiple spaces, as you would say, and try to figure out, like, okay, I want to post here, but followers are here too, and here's like, that's a little tricky. It's like having multiple social media networks, like your TikTok, your Snapchat, YouTube channel, etc. Um, the blockchain aspect might be the alternative way to doing things. The only thing is like, how do you get around that though? Because one of the things is with on the blockchain, the problem is performance. It's not as performant as you think it would be. That was the whole thing with where Ethereum came about. But the problem is Ethereum is not as fast as well too. Performance wise, they won't work. So this whole Web3 concept, great in great in theory, but the problem is it does come down to performance. How well is performance? Because we are so used to now the nanosecond versus the millisecond with responses and updates and such. Um, it's it's not a concept that is not unfamiliar back in the days of the mainframe world. Basically, the internet is basically one big mainframe. That's all it really is. Think about it that way. Because the mainframe was like one isolated network for that particular company. And then sometimes you'll have two different mainframes that might talk to each other with some interconnectivity or some form or another. That was the whole thing with the internet. It's just coming back to what it was basically with the internet. It's just one big mainframe, but just having subsets within it, basically. Um, the decentralized aspect, I think, will work. It's just a matter of how well will it work. Mastodon, as I said, is good, but at the same time, you're creating your own server, basically. Like, it's a matter of like uh, attracting those users to that server. And the thing is, then at that point, it's like, oh yeah, that server is there, but why would I want to post something on someone else's server when I could create my own at that point too? So you'll have competing servers at that point. And then you'll just have like, a slew of them at that point. It's just like the altcoins. Like after Bitcoin came out, you had Litecoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, etc., and like all these stupid meme coins started coming about as well too. That's the reason. I think that's the reason why you don't see as many people jumping off onto these social media platforms that are on the blockchain or in the Web3, basically the Web3 social medias. I want to say this though. It's a possibility that Musk might redesign Twitter to work in the Web3. If that happens, I think that's what he's trying to do basically, because it's more of a case of legitimacy as far as having that ledger in place. So it's like nowadays with Twitter handles, you can just create multiple Twitter usernames at that point, and you don't have. I mean, the blue check mark does some aspect of like verification, but in reality, you can still create multiples, and then you'll have the big trolls at that point. I think by putting it on the Web3 and having a blockchain, on the blockchain itself with their own wallet, you're therefore creating that verification process, and others will have to know at that point who you are. And if you're actually posting up hate speech or whatnot, you can be traced back to it, specifically to the point where, like, if you are like making out online threats, law enforcement can get involved at that point as well too, which is good in that aspect. I mean, if Twitter does fall onto the Web3, or is refactored to work into a Web3 company basically, or remade essentially, it'll be truly interesting to see if that works. I mean, the fact that like Twitter tried to create a crypto team on D apps was interesting. I don't know what happened with it, but who knows what's going on. Outside of that, it'll be fascinating to see how. It will be fascinating to see how this the next 4 months, how Twitter will be basically, and what Musk's plan will be for Twitter. I mean, the fact that he paid $44 billion, that was definitely an overvaluation of what the company's worth. Will be interesting to see as well too. Yeah. Again, unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed, as you see here. You're welcome to subscribe or hit the like button, or dislike button, or comment. And if you comment, I will definitely respond. If there are comments in regards to questions, comments that you post, probably like or dislike, whatever it may be. But I'll still respond so long as I get the notification. Okay.